All right. How's everybody doing? Everything working? I did a test for this. Man, my hair is messed up today. Um, hey Google, close the blinds. It's really bright. All right. So one of my USB cards decided to just stop working yesterday. So that was fun. I went to go turn this camera on and the mic, and neither of them would show up. So I was like, I was trying to screw with it for like an hour and a half, and it wasn't happening. So got a new card. Luckily, I had a spare down in the basement. It was older NEC Renesas one. But hey, it works. So I don't throw anything out. So we've got the ET4 from Orion Motor Tech. Now, I have a feeling this is just a rebranded Anet ET4, which is fine because I haven't checked that machine out. The Amazon box that came in was a little beat up, so I did open it just to make sure everything was in there. Oh, mute ring. Hang on. Let me put that on. Do not disturb. There we go. So yeah, that's about it. My mic was running a little hot there, apparently. The curious thing is, I don't see anything on here saying that it's actually Anet. So they must be getting Anet to white label these for them. So, let's talk about the specs on this particular machine. So it has auto leveling, which is a thing you stick on the nozzle. It has a filament sensor, a metal extruder. It's got the Anet style one. They're on the Anet, it's saying that they have an optional trinamic driver upgrade. So I'm wondering if it has socketed steppers. So the build volume on this is 220 by 220 by 250. They're saying the hotbed will get up to 100 and the nozzle will get up to 250. So we'll go ahead and make sure it hits those claims. I'm looking on here. Hang on. Let's see here. Andrew, I'm really looking forward to that. There will be a stream when that comes in. So Orion Motor Tech is a reseller, and they are actually who I bought my K40 laser cutter through years ago, which was interesting. So I'm trying to find their machine. Here it is. So this is only $219, which isn't terrible at first glance. So we'll see if it's actually decent for that price, because you're in the under 3 territory in terms of pricing and size and all that stuff. So I'm looking here. It says it's got filament resume for power failure, 32-bit processor, touchscreen. The funny thing is on the description where it shows an Ender 3. So if I show, let me go ahead and switch over here. Oh God, that's way too big. Come on. There we go. All right. So if I show you guys this here, the Ender 3 does not have a 16-bit processor. It is a 16 megahertz 8-bit processor. Sandpaper surface, normal spring, more external wiring, not safe. Oh no. So these descriptions are always amusing. Every creation starts with a sturdy foundation when you use this printer. Integrated body is crafted with firm, stable structure supporting sealed metal plates in the base and a hotbed equipped with PCB and tempered glass. Wow. That solid construction lets it ramp its hotbed up to 100C in 5 minutes. We'll see about that. Let's see. Print like a pro. Smooth, swift, and nearly silent. I wonder if they have trinamics on here. We're going to find that out today. So, let's switch over to the arm cam. Turn the light on. You guys know the drill. Let me get the, look at that, Logitech, great focusing algorithm. Man, they sure know how to make focus. It's a good thing I have an app here to override all their focus settings and hold it. Oh no, this is my last energy drink. I might have to restock. All right. Now, I haven't done anything other than cut the tape and lift this up just to take a peek. So, everything looks like it's in good shape. So, let's see. We've got the hot end here, which is all sealed and looks like it was tested. So, if you look here, they did put some plastic through it. Come on, why do we include this stuff? I hate this. Here's our auto leveling sensor. Okay, you shove this on the nozzle and the belt. Some standard tools, some bolts, an extra nozzle, an extra fuse, and whoop, you can see here it's labeled as ET4, even though the Amazon listing doesn't say that in the number. It does say it in the part number. So this is a rebranded Anet ET4. And we'll see. I'm going to be looking for Anet signs on here. We've got bed surface. Looks like they got a sheet of glass too. And that's it. Well, there's the unboxing. Thanks for watching. I'll talk to you guys again real soon. See you later. I'm just messing with you. All right. Let's see what we got here. I'm running on like 3 hours of sleep. I've been wrapping up the repairs on my wagon. All right, so we've got the ET4 setup manual. It says it's got a 240 watt power supply. It's an interesting selection for power supply wattage. Assembly seems pretty simple. We've got 4 bolts going in the bottom here. Oh, interesting. So they actually show here, if you look, that they actually put a piece of extrusion like cover. I'm sure Anet's got a ton of this left over from the E series. They have a piece of extrusion in here to keep the bed from moving during shipping. See? They tell you to remove that, and then we're going to do 4 bolts. Slide the carriage on for the X, and then put the belt on. So when it's got the outputs here labeled, I don't know what MAT is. MAT and S-Z BL. Assuming that's a BL touch header. I don't know. That's the only thing I think of. E-M, X-M, assuming that's E motor, X motor, temp, fan. It's got a little breakout board on here. And then, hey, look at that. TiVo, take note. They give you a spool holder. And that's it. Is this... Oh, just basics, auto leveling. They don't show you how to put the little thing on there. Well, let's get to it. Let's pull this out here. All right. Okay, so let's put the top frame on. Or actually, let's take a peek under here real quick, see what we got. So there's extrusion where it bolts on. We got a stepper motor, limit switch. Heated bed power cable comes out there. And then, oh, that's adorable. Oh, it's so adorable. Oh no, warranty void if seal's broken. Hey, guess what? These aren't enforceable in the US. Or most other countries. So, here. Gone. So I think your warranty void sticker. Alright. You guys want me to look at the bottom now? You guys are getting more and more impatient. Are you supposed to change the voltage? Well, I'm assuming they have it set to the right voltage. The only way you can void a customer warranty is if you can prove that what they did broke the machine or the product. They don't even give you an Allen key that's small enough to unscrew this. That's okay. Any person worth their weight in salt will have a standard set of tools on hand. Yeah, I'm going to open the bottom up now because I just realized it's going to be way easier to look at the bottom with it disassembled versus having it assembled. This is like the breakout cable. Oh, they're not socketed drivers. We've got a STM32F407 on here for the CPU. And the PSU is set to 110. No name sleeve bearing fans with no seal, which I'm not surprised. That's standard. PSU is Changlang, which is the same brand Creality uses. 240 watt, 24 volts. Let's check the ground. Get my trusty Klein out here. I love this current clamp multimeter. It's so handy. All right, you guys want to guess if we have proper grounding? I'll wait. I'll wait. Come on. Put in your guesses right now. Yep, nope, nope, yep. We've got, okay. Okay, let's see. So, if I go from the chassis of the PSU, the ground, got 0. Hmm. So PSU itself is grounded, but the chassis is not. I'm willing to bet it's because all these are insulated. So, removing some of this should then ground it through the screw. There we go. That's all I need to do. Just one screw. So I'm going to feed that back to them and let them know, hey, you guys need to have chassis ground. All right. I mean, pretty standard fare in here. This is an Anet proprietary board. See this big cap here on this board? This is for the power resume. Now, I will plug away at this and see if I can get Marlin 2 on here. But I'm not going to hold my breath. I'm also going to see if they're running Marlin. Because you guys know what'll happen if I find out they're running Marlin and they don't provide source. Yeah, so this like spray-on plasticky coating they put on these chassis, they're insulators. So if they don't have any of the screws puncture through that coating, you don't have chassis ground. They really just need to grind one screw off just like I did and have some sort of ground going back. Because right now, if like one of the line or the neutral hit the chassis, it's going to find ground through you, not through the ground. Is it going to have thermal runaway? I'm assuming that it will, because I have gotten better about that. All right, so I'm going to feed the cable out here. Nice cost savings here, guys. Heat shrink is too expensive. Just send it with electrical tape. Done. Dunzo. I'm nitpicking now. Just letting you guys know. Looks like my little sticker is coming off. Look at like it got caught on the packing. Alright, enough nitpicking. Let's get on with the build. You don't understand, Ricardo? There's no ground to the chassis. You need to have ground for safety reasons and electrical interference. Put your bets in for thermal runaway. Ah! I'm dropping stuff already. You know, I just realized, where's the spool holder? Ah! There's a little rectangular portion in the packing material. Alright, so I'm just screwing in the 2 screws that hold this extrusion here. I have to grind I grinded the screw hole because this black stuff is an insulator. It's plastic, basically. It's like a spray-on plastic, and plastic is an insulator, meaning electricity cannot pass through it. Well, so far these are going in nice. Yeah, grinding a screw hole. That screw connects to the back of the power supply. That screw holds the power supply in, and the power supply chassis is grounded. So when it goes through the screw hole and goes into the power supply's mounting hole, which is going into the grounded portion of the power supply, it is now passing that ground through the screw into the chassis. It's a very cost-effective way to do it because your alternative would be running an extra ground wire from the ground screw terminal of the PSU to the chassis, or you can just have it go through the screw. All right. So now we have to put the X carriage on. Let me reposition you guys here. How's that? Alrighty. Okay. So according to their assembly guide here, we're going to put the belt on and in the correct direction and attach it. Bed is very loose. And there's no mention to adjust. Oh wait, I take that back. Right here. There's no text, but it's showing you use a wrench, and it's just showing you to adjust these, but it doesn't tell you how tight this should be. So oh, we got some zip ties in here too. Oh, reusable zip ties. Look at that. Pulling out all the stops here. All right. So the easiest thing is going to be put this on and then put these over here. How am I liking the Space Mouse? It's pretty good so far. I haven't had much time to play with it though. That car has been a pain in the ass. So that's been eating up a lot of my free time. I'm probably going to take it over to a local foreign repair shop and have them look at it. I think the key is bad, to be completely honest. Here we go. This is the leveling sensor here, or hookup. Got a little jumper cap on there. I mean, hey, it's cost effective and works, I guess. All right. So that goes on, and I'm going to need to attach this. They don't give you snips. Z-Rod is lubed, which is now lubing my hand. Alright, so there's a little attachment point on the rear of the carriage here that this just slides into. I will say I do not like that there's no way to tension this belt. At all. There's no way at all to tension this belt. Not even a little bit. And this belt's too long. So that's a fail. Look at, I can't tension the belt, and this is too long. How am I supposed to tension the belt? This is all statically mounted. No, I don't think our dual Z kit's going to work on this printer. It says Titan. Maybe the motor moves a little, or they're like oblongated. They're okay, so you can move the motor, but I don't know if that's going to be enough. We'll see. Well, I mean, that's as tight as I can get it. Still a little loose. So I'm going to use our included zip ties. Actually, they're too big. So what we can do, though, is pull this down, okay? So you pull down the little brass ending here. And I'm going to throw a couple of zip ties right underneath there. I'll show you guys what I'm talking about here. You know what? We're going to make this fun. Every time I have an issue, I'm taking a drink. All right. So what I mean by shortening this is just take a zip tie here, okay? Put it on here. And tighten it down, okay? So now it's going to create the belt being shorter. So now I can actually get some tension on here. Hey, it's still got less zip ties on a Prusa though. So, where did I tighten down also? This one? There we go. So I'm gonna pull, I'm holding this motor in place, put tension on the belt, and now I've got one. There we go. So I will let them know about these issues. Like they should just include, honestly, keep the belt length the same, just include some zip ties. Because the reality is they're probably cutting these belts in extremely high quantities, and the fact is they're never going to get the correct length. So you should just have them shorten the belt like that. So, all right. Now, how's my eccentric here? There are eccentric nuts on it, so. So that's wobbly. Now it's not. So when you tighten your eccentrics, you want it just to the point where your carriage or whatever stops wobbling. Okay, so we got to hook up the cable into the breakout board and then plug all the cables in. The directions are very lacking for the cable connections. Color me shocked. I will say, after doing I think the last printer we did was that Anycubic Mega Zero. Those directions were probably the best directions I've ever seen come with a Chinese machine. Like, hands down. And that printer has been printing great since we built it. So that printer definitely gets a thumbs up, if I'm being completely honest with you guys. Even despite the fact that it doesn't have a heated bed. All right, so these unlock. A nice little locking mechanism. All right, so I'm going to connect the PTFE tube. Like, really, you guys couldn't go with an injection molded sensor? Like, probably cost you more to print it than to just injection mold it. All right, so this is labeled LV, which is right here. Oh, it's not a BL Touch header because there's 2 pins here instead of 3. The BL Touch would need 3. Weird. Oh, wait, hang on. LV. Okay, LV isn't even labeled on here, but it's labeled on the PCB. So fan 1, right here. LV. Temp. MP, okay. Oh, BL blower. Okay, so that makes more sense. And these are our heater wires for the hot end. That's not good. Depending on what wattage it is. Let's see how many ohms this is. That'll tell us how many watts it is. Yeah, these small wires here. Actually, let me see how bad it is. Hang on. Well, there is no label for LED. All right, so if it's around 14 ohms, that means it's a 40-watt heater, and this connector is going to be too small. Come on. And we're at 14.6 ohms, which means that's about 40 watts. So, Ohm's law calculator dictates 24 volts at 14.6 ohms gives us 39 watts. So this cabling and this connector are not designed to handle that much current, especially these Chinese ones. It's 1.7 amps of current roughly. This would be a concern for me because this should be a beefier connector. Not that many amps, but I think these are rated for 2, but that's the original JSTs. These are like JST XHs with locking connectors. Let me look up the specs on a JST XH. BL is for the blower fan, Bill. Let me see. JST XH max current. Realize my batteries are dead. Okay, so it says 3 amps. Okay, but that's for the genuine stuff. We'll see. That would be something to keep an eye on this machine, because that's a really small connector. All right. I'm running on like no sleep, so caffeine and nicotine are what keep me running. All right, looks like we've got another piece of the bed extrusion stopper, whatever you want to call it. And we got to plug the Z motor in and the hotbed cable. So, typical removable connector. Looks like they're running 2 wires for the power, which is good. And they have siliconed it. That should help with reducing strain. Plug our Z motor in here. Am I going to print a test? No, I'm just going to build the printer and then end the stream. All right, so Z motor's connected. Now you can see here, this belt is loose, but we do have a nice range of adjustment here on the Y motor here. I bring my camera controller back up here so I can focus it. There we go. So I'm going to loosen these up. So this motor can move. So I'm going to shove it this way, Allen key. Tighten one of those down. So there we go. And tighten the wrist down. They're okay belts. Alright, so now we have to adjust the eccentrics here. Which are on this side. That's making it worse. Okay, so that one's not slipping now. Back a little bit. That one's still slipping. And not too tight, not too tight, not too what's the word I'm looking for? Not too tight, not too loose. So the question is, do you have to? No way. Is there no Z limit switch? Oh, it homes to the top. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. Well, I just have to put the spool holder on, which goes on with the two remaining T-nuts and bolts. All right. Where did I put here? Are they saying to? They want to hang in this way. So I'm putting the screws in, and then we'll put the T-nuts on the bottom here. Correct direction. On. In. So that one. Am I ready for Murph? No. We're never ready. There's always so much stuff to get ready for Murph. All right. There we go. All right. She's all connected up. Let me grab my power strip here. And let's plug it in. Actually, let's test the included cable here to make sure it actually has working ground. Yep. Okay. That's good. Oh, there it goes. Oh, it shows Anet on the screen. You guys see that? So this is just an Anet. English. Okay, so it defaults to Chinese. Let's do prepare. Okay. Let's see if the bed will get to 100. It's kind of a nice interface. It's got like a percentage. That's kind of neat. Now the question is, in that SD reader, did they include an SD card? They did. The stock fans are quiet. Really quiet. So there's a level option. Let's see, home. Oh, it does not have Trinamics in it. You can see there, it's homing Z. Definitely 4988s. Well, the Solval printer is a Solval. They're just having Creality make some stuff for them. All right, so X, Y, and Z homed. We're at 52 on the bed and 211 on the hot end. The SD slot is over on the left side here. Okay. All right. Well, I homed it again and it did that. All right. Let me reheat everything. See if it's going to hit the advertised temperatures here. Let's let this get to temp. Come on, ARM. Stay where I put you. All right, so while we're waiting for this to see if it'll actually hit 100, what has everybody got going on in their lives? What do you guys all got going on here? Anything fancy? Anything new? I'm going to bust out this thermocouple here and see how accurate the bed temps are. Excuse me while I whip this out. Interesting way to clip these to the bed here. Okay, so my thermocouple's showing almost 70. I make sure it's contacting the bed. Oh, someone's here. Okay. It's touching the aluminum plate now. So you guys can see the temp displayed and the actual temp of the bed. We're about 5C off, roughly. Yeah, we're consistently about 5 degrees Celsius off. It is heating up quick, though. I will give it that. It's a question if I set it to 105. Oh, it won't even let me do 105. Oh, 100 is the max it'll go. I mean, it's getting hot. Let's see if the temperature stabilizes. My poor Klein. Whatever, it's a Klein. Oh no. It looks like we're consistently about 5C off because it thinks it's at 100. Now, the thing is, the temp sensor's on the bottom of the bed. I want to give it a sec to stabilize and see if it can saturate and level out here. I mean, to be clear, 96 is pretty damn respectable. I will say that. No, but it looks like we're definitely leveling out. Yeah, so we're about 4 to 5C off. Not terrible. Oh, wait, maybe I should leave it. If I sandwich it more. Ooh. But it is touching the bed. The sensor itself is touching the bed. I'm gonna give it another sec here to see if it gets up to any higher temp. I mean, we're only seeing about 3C difference. It's not terrible. I'll call it good. Yeah, so look at we're just letting the bed even out now. It's getting up there. Okay, I'm not gonna ding it for that. We're within 2 degrees Celsius. That's perfectly fine. Let's see what chat is. Meanwhile, my ender through the duet board, homing failed. I haven't played with too many duets, so I can't be of much help there. Yeah, I know you're still on. I'm watching you. This thing beeps. I have auto shut off enabled, but it's got a beep to remind you that hey, I'm on. I'm building Ricardo Mason. I'm building a Core XY printer, 8mm diameter lead screw, 2mm lead. Do I need anti-backlash nuts? Probably not. Yeah, I'm gonna call this fine because this is 98C, close to 99. So this is why I wanted to let it sit for a sec because I wanted to make sure that this was all saturated, and we're within 2 degrees. So I'm gonna call that okay. X30N said BL Touch V2 died. Well, if it's a V2, you got some life out of it. Should replace it with a Easy ABL. We will have more bootloader kits in tomorrow, if anybody was wondering. Because we're out of stock on those. HVAC, what's up, man? You got home from work? Why don't you crack open a beer and join me? Yeah, so we're within 2C. I'm gonna call that acceptable. The heat shrink on my thermocouple was starting to partially melt. But hey, this is a decently beefy bed, so you can do ABS on this machine once you get an enclosure. So that's respectable. Okay, now let me see what their directions for, oh, it's hot. What their directions for the auto leveling system is. Nope. This is funny. All the contents in this manual have been checked carefully. If there is any misprint or misunderstanding of them, Anet reserves the right of interpretation and amendment without prior notification. AKA, we know we put Chinglish in the manual, and there's nothing you can do about it. That's funny. All right, so they've got basic info on how to plug it in. They're showing connecting the level sensor here. It says remove filament from the nozzle, connect and install leveling switch 4, 5, and 6. And we will have an offset. What did I just drop? Oh, the fuse. All right, well, let's see if this works. Our hotend's still at 100C, so I'm not going to put that on there. I am going to remove the residual filament from the nozzle. Now, here's our little leveling connector. So let's see how well this works. Okay. So I'm going to go to level auto and hit OK. What is going on? I'm just going to let it see what happens. Is it going to go down? Okay, well, that was a fail. Prepare, no. Setting. I just told it to home all. Jesus Christ, this firmware is terrible. Okay. Setting, manual, home. Doesn't say to unplug Z. Okay, here, I'm going to move it down. Setting, manual, home. Gonna foam up on me? Yep. Oh, oh. Nope. Okay, let's. I don't even know at this point. Here's the thing. Normally I'd say let's flash Marlin and properly set the firmware up. But guess what? It's running proprietary crap. This is one of the reasons I hate proprietary firmware. Because if the manufacturer doesn't know what the hell they're doing with their own firmware, try homing each axis individually. Okay, so I'm going to move this down. Mechanically, the printer seems decent. Okay, so it says setting, manual. Okay, so like we have here, it's running version 112. I'll see if I can find updated firmware here. Home. So it's raising Z. Okay, hang on. I think I'm not... Okay. Let's try disconnecting the sensor for now. And put the jumper cap back on. Okay, so I'm going to follow it exactly to the letter here. Setting, manual, home. Let's try it again. Setting, manual, home. Okay. So I'm going to think that their firmware's too stupid to realize when the printer's already up. So let me go all the way down, because it homed once successfully. There's an end stop for Z here, X here, Y is back here. Setting, home. Mechanically, I don't really have any complaints. But the reality is, if the software doesn't work, the printer doesn't work. And if someone bought this from Amazon, okay, so that works. Y works, Z, up, down. I go. When I tell it to go down, it doesn't actually go down. Cold extrusion prevention is not turned on because the extruder just moved. Let me try homing again. Let me see. Is the X end stop unplugged from the board? Oh. I'm gonna hook it up to USB and see what it spits out. Let's see if we've got Marlin on this hunk of crap. No, it's definitely registering that the Z is triggering, because if you see, it goes up and then down. So the Z end stop is working. Swear to God, if one person says that I don't give honest reviews, I'm going to find them and make them feel a world of pain. Probably 6. Let's see if 25. Let's see if it's 250K. Nope. Probably 115, 200. Honestly, I don't even know what I would do in this situation. I don't have any experience with this firmware. Let's see if M503 spits out. Nothing. It's not spitting out anything. No, the axes are moving the correct direction. So if I tell this to move, it's not going to move in the negative direction. X is moving the correct way. So is Y. Z will not move down because it's not homed. Okay, it tells Z to move up. All the axes are moving correctly. Maybe a G28. It does not respond to emergency stops. That connector's going in all the way. Yeah, except I can't flash a working firmware because it's proprietary. That switch is for homing, 100%. All the axes, I want to be clear, stop saying that they're not going the right direction. They are 100% configured correctly and going the right direction. All the cables are connected. They're all connected. This is 100% for sure a firmware problem. And it didn't start until I hooked up that sensor. Because as you guys saw, it homed once correctly. Once. Wait, let me change it back to manual level. Okay. Repair level manual. So what I had done is on the LCD here, I had pressed auto. So I just pressed manual. All right. So I press 1. All right, we're getting somewhere. What's up, Scotty? What you doing? Well, I mean that's definitely a firmware bug, so I have to drink. Two soldiers down. Hey, Aaron, you should just give Jimmy your direct email since you're not on the help desk that often. All right, let me try point 1 again. I'm just going to go back through these. That's to manually level the bed, so I'm doing that. Thanks, Jim. How about instead of money, you just bring me some spotted cow because I'm completely out. The reason you want to go through and do your manual leveling multiple times is because as you adjust the other points, the other ones are gonna change. Okay, so I have manually leveled the bed. Okay, now it tells me to remove the filament from the nozzle and connect the leveling switch. It doesn't tell me to move it up because there's no way in hell I can get the switch onto here. So I'm going to have to go to setting Z and move my Z up. Zombie dust is some decent stuff. I don't know the percent. One of you nerds, look up the percent. And I call you guys nerds in the most affectionate way possible. I want you to know that. So it says to connect the leveling sensor. Okay. I would be hard pressed to call this a sensor. Okay. But we'll humor them, okay? All right, so I have connected the leveling sensor. Click prepare. Leveling. Auto. Okay, well I hit auto, it didn't do anything. I'm assuming I have to click OK. Because if you guys look here, okay, we're gonna do the stepper skip shuffle here. Mother. I spilled some beer. Okay. Auto leveling doesn't work. This can go in the trash. So let's just pretend that doesn't exist, and this printer doesn't have auto leveling. I'm going to go back to prepare. I'm going to go back to level, and I'm going to tell it manual, okay? And we're just going to pretend like that crappy little thing you shove on the nozzle doesn't exist. Hey, my nozzle's actually got tension, so screw it. Let's do a test print. Print. There's pig, cat, and dog. All right, so let me preheat the nozzle, and I'm going to there's CH fill. Where did I put the crappy little sample? I should probably also be drinking my energy drink because I'm already tired and the beer's not helping. So the auto level does not work as advertised. At least it's not on fire. You know what? Let's test thermal runaway. And that's going to be easy to do. All I have to do is unplug the heater. Heater's unplugged. So this is emulating if the thermistor had an issue or you got wiring problems. Let's see. Place your bets now if the thermal runaway is going to work or not. Give it a minute. Could take a minute. As you can see, the hot end's dropping. It's still telling it to heat. Oh, you can tell if a printer's on fire. It will smell. Did you guys not hear the music that I played? Oh, you guys might not have. Oh, hang on, let's try that again. Did you guys hear the music that time? Hey, Reasonable Being, I still have your Chiron, and Aaron and I are doing a stream on that this week. And I really, really apologize for the crazy amount of time we've had it. It's in my garage right here, safe and sound. I mean, thermal runaway should have triggered by now. I think it's been a minute. Bye, Jim. Get back to work. Oh, headed home from work. Go take care of your pregnant wife. You did that to her. I'm going to give it another 30 seconds. Hey, Google, set a timer for 30 seconds. Hey, Google, set a timer for 30 seconds. Oh. It did shut the hot end off. You guys see the target temperature? But there's no error. Stop. Let's try it one more time. It won't let me reset the hot end temp. Okay, so there is some protection. It's not letting me set the hot end temp, but there's no error message, so half working. I mean, you guys can go back and see exactly how long it took if you look at the stream playback. Let me see. Prepare. Let's tell it to heat. Hey, Google, start a stopwatch. Can Google do that? Hey, Google, start a timer. Yeah, it doesn't work. I mean, if your guys' printer just wouldn't heat, would you power cycle it like I just did? Okay, Google, buy everything from th3dstudio.com. No, look at. So it does have some protection, but it's not giving any errors. Only an Anet stream would get me buzzed before 5 o'clock. Well, let's see how it prints. Or actually, one last test. I'm gonna unplug the bed while it's being told to heat. I'm not gonna lie, full disclosure, I actually have a nice buzz going now. Because I'm almost through my third beer, and I haven't eaten much today. RIP, what little semblance of a diet I did have going on. Alright, bed's unplugged. It's reading 300, and okay. So it does have like min temp on here. Google said, what do you think I am made of money? Okay. So, I mean, basic thermal protections and checks are in place, so no error messages, so I'm going to kill this third beer. At least if I get drunk on the stream, you don't have to worry about me saying I'm going to attack other creators in the community, like some people. That's a shots fired right there. Well, let's see if it prints. I'm sorry, I'm not a masochist. I'm just going to get a roll of filament. Prepare, change filament, load. Okay. While it heats up, I'm going to run to the restroom and break the seal really quick, so I'll be right back, guys, okay? Alright, I'm back. And I washed my hands. Tried to fix my hair, but... Ugh. Screw it. Alright. Oh, it timed out. Well, that's lovely. Oh! I forgot to plug the hot end back in. I was hoping to come back and be able to put filament in it, but... my intentional sabotage ended up backfiring. Prepare, change filament, and I'm hitting plus. It's telling it to heat. Tim has not eaten anything today. Aaron, where are you? Aaron. Where are you in chat? Here we go. Let's see. Oh wait, that doesn't... I know, I need to mod Aaron, hang on. It's not that easy. Especially since he hasn't chatted much, and I can't see it. Aaron, you need to like... There you go. Good employee. There you go. Alright, let me grab some filament. That heated up pretty quick. Hey, the load works. I'm impatient. We're using some Coex LLC filament. Do you recommend seasoning the V6 clone you saw on your site? I recommend seasoning any all-metal hot end. And by seasoning, I mean just put some oil on the filament and just let it do its thing. I would recommend the titanium heat breaks, but my supplier is in Shenzhen, and they're still recovering from all the virus stuff. The coronavirus stuff is really screwing us and a lot of companies over, and it's kind of scary to think how dependent we are on China, because like even my suppliers that are not in China are affected by China because they get parts from China. So like Taiwan, I'm not going to get into the China is Taiwan, China and stuff. But the company that makes our boards for the Easy ABL and the Easy board are all in Taiwan, but they have people that live, well, not live, but are from China, and they went home on holiday and they're kind of stuck there now. It's extruding. I put you together, I can take you apart. This is true. All right. So filament's loaded and it's extruding, so I'm going to go ahead and print cat, pig, or dog. Those are the three G-code files. Come on, post in chat. What are we doing? Cat, pig, or dog?
China, 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 China.
All right, we're doing pig, dog, piggy, pork, bacon. Bacon. I am hungry. I have not eaten at all today. Okay, pig it is. Okay. All right, it's selling the hot end to go to 215 and the bed to go to 60.
China.
I love that sound clip.
Danger zone.
Are you feeling it now, Mr. Crab? I am. Oh, look at all that schmoo. Eh. Eh. So, if you guys got any sound clips you want me to add to my soundboard that you think would be fun, go ahead and shoot an email to streams@th3dstudio.com with the MP3 file. And if I think it's worthy, I will add it to my soundboard. Beer is a meal in itself. Beer is good. It's not good for my diet. It's very high in carbs. I have been legitimately trying to eat better. I know there's about a bunch of people that are like, "Hey, Tim, you should stop vaping." The reality is, if I stopped vaping, one, I would be pounding energy drinks, which are way more expensive than my vape juice. And two, I would probably be snacking a lot more. And plus, I love how this fruity vape shit tastes. So come at me, bro. All right, let's see if it prints. Like I said, mechanically, I think this is a decent machine. It just goes to show you how software can kill a machine. So it's actually printing at a good Z height. I swear to God, if this is a dick. Okay. It totally looked like two balls were printing. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm gonna play the disclaimer now because the more beers I drink, the worse this stream is gonna get. And by worse, I mean fun. Hey there, I just wanted to give a little disclaimer here before we start the stream. Our streams are meant to be more fun and casual. During our live streams, there might be light swearing, and we also allow other members of the community to come in on some of the streams. In addition to that, occasionally, myself or my guests on the streams may have an alcoholic beverage, so if you're sensitive to that kind of stuff, I'd recommend that you don't watch the live stream. If you're looking for our more serious content, like our installation guides, our how-to videos, all that content does not contain this type of language or content in it. We do the live streams to give us and you guys a chance to interact with us and vice versa, and also hang out and talk with other people in the community. So, with that out of the way, you guys get comfy, and I'll be live here shortly. All right, that clear? It's printing nice. I should probably show the ARM camera. So the nice thing I like about this Logitech Brio, even though it's really fucking expensive for what it is because it's a 4K sensor, I can actually digitally zoom without much loss of picture quality. So let me get that in place and I'll zoom in on the print. I seriously love you guys. And it's not just the beer talking. Beer might be helping, but like I love that you guys tune in and watch me screw around with printers. My extruder is skipping. So I'm going to rate, it was only at 200, it was set to 200C. Now, to be fair, this is Coax PLA, which is a US-made PLA. And a US-made PLA, typically, if they're not using fillers, needs a higher temp. So I'm going to bump the temp up to 230C. Seriously, like, look, it's rain. I love the Easy ABL. Like, it's great that I can sell a product that isn't bullshit that I love. Like, to be completely honest, I love our fucking ABL kits. Like, they make life so much easier. They're not like let's be honest. If you guys have a bed that's actually flat, which is I don't know, 50-50 shot, you don't really need it. But auto bed living in general, whether it's an easy ABL or a BL Touch, makes your printing experience so much easier and so much smoother. Um, like that is the number one thing if you ask a new person what the issue is when they start a print is getting that first layer down. So 50-50 my ass. Okay, so you got like a 25% chance to get a flatbed, okay? Is that more accurate? Like, I want you guys to know, anything we sell in our shop, I legitimately believe is a good product. I will not sell something just to make margins or profit on. It's to be completely honest, there's a lot of stuff that I've passed up that I could make a lot of money selling, but I don't because I don't want to compromise the integrity of our brand because I want to focus on quality and making sure that things we're selling do perform as advertised and do actually make a difference. Because there's a lot of crap you guys see in the community that people do that doesn't actually make a noticeable difference. And you get these people that do stuff and they think it makes a difference, but if you compare apples to apples before and after doing certain modifications, there's no benefit to it. So I'm not going to sell you guys stuff that I don't believe actually works. And some people may disagree with what I sell, and that's just going to happen. You're never going to please everybody. But I can sleep well at night knowing that I'm legitimately giving people good quality shit. And yeah. I mean, that's really what it is. We're not gonna try to be the cheapest on everything. A lot of our stuff comes from China, but the difference is I've got really good suppliers and I've got really good staff here that goes through and checks everything. So, and if you guys do have an issue, because I'm going to tell you right now, we are not going to get every single order correct. We're not going to have zero issues with any of our products. And the important thing is how a company handles when there are problems with a product. And certain companies, if you have a problem with a product, they will just leave you out to dry and be like, oh, well, we're just not going to respond to them because they don't want to deal with them. But where I want to make sure that we keep a high level of service is in our customer service department. So I want to make sure that we are attentive to our customers' needs and that we're carrying stuff that you guys want. So that was the raft it was printing. So now it's printing the actual part. And yeah, it is printing pretty fast. I had to bump the temp up because this PLA is a US-made PLA. My Brio apparently just decided, hey, we're gonna skip some frames here. But like I legit, and here's the thing, like I do stress out way more than I should because I want to make sure that everything is as close to perfect as I can possibly get it. And that may not be good for my stress levels, but I don't know. It's hard for me when we have stuff that's like, you know, where there's an issue where a customer has a problem with like something not related to our products and I have to direct them to our communities. Like, because I want to help them, but the reality is I only have so much time in the day to help people, and I have to focus on stuff related to our products. But that's why I took the time to set up all the communities, like our Discord server, the forum and stuff. Like, that stuff didn't take no time to set up. Like, that stuff took legitimate amounts of time to set up. I can't tell if... I'm going to let it get a couple more layers in because it's kind of looking kind of weird. And the spool's not tangled. But I can't tell if it's looking sparse because of the gap between the raft and the printed part, but we'll see. So anyways, like, I never want TH3 to be a huge company. I'm very happy... Oh god, that's not... Oh boy, we're going to need to up the print temperature. It's extruding pretty nicely though. But anyways, I never want TH3 to be a big company because the reality is the bigger we get, the less and less we can be more personal with everybody, and that's really important to me. So, I'm very happy with where we're at. I'm glad that everybody, well, not everybody. I'm glad that a lot of people see what we're trying to do here and what our focus is. It's printing fast. It's actually extruding. I'm not hearing any skips. Like, it looks pretty good, I'm not gonna lie. What's everybody's go-to printer right now? Like, what's your guys' favorite printer? Post in the chat what your favorite machine is and why. I'm just drinking beer because why not? Zombie Dust is amazing. Samantha has a very good, like, customer service voice. Do you guys know what I mean by that? Okay, so there's like these two buttons on the LCD here. Like, is this yeet mode? If I press this, what does that do? Now it shows a fan. I don't know what that means. Oh, okay, so I think this changes the feed rate, and this switches it to be the fan. Let me see, if I turn that off, will that turn the fan off? Yes, it does. And that's the feed rate. Okay, that's an interesting choice. Okay, I'm assuming this will toggle between the... Yeah, so that's the bed and the hot end. The Anycubic Photon is a great machine. I have one, I don't use it very often, but when I do, it works. MK3S, I won't even get into that. Our MK3S has been reliably inconsistent with this extrusion. I hate my Ender 3 Pro. What do you hate about it? I might have stuff I can sell you that will make you hate it less. I saw the Exoslide stuff at ERF and it looks really cool. I have not tried it yet. I am not selling the MK3S. We're going to keep it in case I ever need to do or want to do upgrades to it. Oh, hey, Tyler. So, just so you guys know, Tyler West's favorite beer is Zombie Dust, and this is made in Indiana. And he can't get it where he's at. So, this is so good, Tyler. It's still cold. It tastes so good. The bear upgrade for the Prusa amuses me because the Prusa is meant to be a machine that works out of the box, and then you guys got guys taking like a $750 kit or $1,000 fully assembled machine, and then putting hundreds of dollars more into it. At that point, why don't you just buy an Ender 3 and do the same thing? Because a fully kitted out Ender 3 with all of our upgrades, including an easy board, is still under $700 and will outprint a Prusa. And in my opinion, I can show you guys prints off of my Ender 3 that's got every single upgrade we sell for that machine. And I'll put it up against a Prusa any day. Let's see. Very happy with my CR10 upgrade with Dual Z and custom direct extruder and SKR 1.3. Have you had, I'm genuinely asking, have you had issues with your SKR? Because I know 3D Printing Llama is on like his third or fourth board, and Big Tree Tech will not honor any sort of warranty. To be honest, now that we've obviously the auto level, auto level. I'm sorry if you guys have to put something on your nozzle, it's not automatic leveling. Um, but sans auto level, this is printing pretty decently. But the problem is they're putting that in the box, and your average user is going to use it. They're going to keep trying to use it, and then when it doesn't work because the firmware's not set up correctly, they're just going to send it back. Oh yeah, you're not going to be able to power that from the end stop port. What layer height are they printing this at? I feel a decent amount of air coming off the layer fan. I want to say it looks like either 0.2 or like 0.16. Okay, so Joseph, if you have extrusion issues on Ender 3, the first thing you should check is the PTFE tube going into the hot end. Now, here's the thing. The Creality hot ends are decent hot ends. The issue people have with them are the fittings and the fact that they don't always get the PTFE tube all the way inside, or if they do, because the fittings are poor quality, it releases the tube and the tube moves up. So it creates this void between the nozzle and the PTFE tube that has this semi-molten plastic that doesn't fully melt, okay? So what happens is, because that plastic is not consistently melting, and it's kind of like in this state of partially melted, fully melted, you get extrusion issues. So the first thing you should do is loosen up the fitting. Even if you have the stock fitting, loosen up the fitting. And I would say if you have the stock fitting, about a half a turn. Heat the nozzle up to about 230 Celsius. Shove the PTFE tube down into there, and then tighten the fitting back down. What that's going to do is it's going to take the teeth, and they're going to bite into the PTFE tube and shove it down into the hot end so it's flush against the nozzle. Now, another issue I've seen, and Travis, you were on point, is that they don't always cut the PTFE flush. We sell PTFE cutters. We're out of stock on them, I think, right now. But PTFE cutters are not a bullshit item. PTFE cutters ensure that the end of your tube is flat. If your end of the tube is not flat, okay, so let's imagine this is the back of the nozzle, okay? And here's my PTFE, my hand's the PTFE tube. If my PTFE tube end is flat, it goes up and it makes a nice seal against the end of the nozzle. If my PTFE tube, okay, is cut at an angle, even a slight angle, it's like this. So we have a gap. And through the gap, the filament can escape and create a void, which is going to lead to inconsistent extrusion. So you should definitely check that the PTFE is inserted. Most of the time, Creality does properly cut their PTFE tubing, and it is actually flat. However, if you want to be sure, completely remove the fitting from your hot end and look at the end of the tube and look and see if it's actually flat. If it's not flat, you cut it with a PTFE cutter. If you don't have a PTFE cutter, then make sure that you use a razor blade and cut it as flat as you can. But the thing you want to make sure is that you actually have a flat end on the PTFE and that PTFE is all the way in. If you're still having extrusion issues, slow your print speed down. Up your print temp. As you can see, I had issues with this because this plastic requires a higher temperature. The more pure the PLA is you use, aka, and this is a generalization, this is not an absolute, US suppliers of PLA, meaning the PLA is made in the US, typically do not have as many additives in them to thin out the PLA as Chinese brands. And what that means is because you have more PLA, you have a higher melting point. So you're going to need to up your print temperature. For US made PLA, I typically run 230C for PLA. Now the Chinese stuff, I can get away with running 200 to 210 nozzle temperatures. In my opinion, you should never run less than 190C for PLA. I typically default to 200 and see how the PLA behaves. If it's a US made PLA, I will usually just set it to 230. There's also an upgrade. If you look up One Bad Marine PTFE fix, if you Google that, it'll take you to a Thingiverse page. It's one of like the first listings. And what that Thingiverse page is a printable part that you can cut a length of PTFE and a thing that fits into the back of the PTFE fitting. And he actually has a specific one for the ones we sell. And what that does is it forces a small piece of PTFE all the way into the hot end to butt up against the nozzle, so you don't have issues with the void occurring. So let me check chat here. Tim, have you seen Creality E3D Titan extruder upgrade for the CR10 V2? I have not ordered it. I have no experience with it. So Joseph, take that information I just gave you and apply it to your machine and see where the issues are. Because the reality is, the Ender 3 is a decent machine. You might just have something that you're not seeing where it's causing issues. Dirty Printing Lemma says, even with a cutter, leave a piece of filament inside. This will keep it from squishing and flexing, giving an even straighter cut. Oh, that's a good idea. I've never done that, but it's not going to hurt. It's a good tip. If I'm using a larger nozzle printing fast, 230. Yeah. So one of the things you guys can get around flow rate limitations with a stock hot end is upping the print temperature. Now, however, if you have a stock hot end and you're running, let's say, well, not let's say, if you're running a stock hot end with stock PTFE tubing, do not go over 240C because the PTFE is going to start to break down. Options to fix that would be our tough tubing or Capricorn. I will not buy Capricorn because they threw us under the bus when we came out with our own competitors, so screw them. But their stuff does work as advertised. Our stuff is like $3 to $4 a meter cheaper. And does the exact same thing theirs does. Calibrating extruder steps. Your extruder steps are for the most part static. The variation in any filament diameter should be handled in your slicer with your flow rate adjustment. So, for example, a Creality extruder is 95 steps per millimeter. It's 95 steps per millimeter, period. That's it. If your filament diameter varies, you can adjust your flow rate in your slicer to then compensate if it's over or under the 1.75 millimeter diameter. You should not be constantly changing any steps per millimeter on your machine. X, Y, and Z are always going to be static. Anyone that tells you that you should calibrate your X, Y, and Z, they're idiots. And the reason they're idiots is because your steps per millimeter are X, Y, and Z. For your X and Y, those are determined by your stepper driver stepping rate, your stepper motor angle, which is usually 1.8 degrees or 0.9. 1.8 is typical for stock motors. You only have 0.9 if you did a custom machine or you have a really high-end machine or you change your motors. So those settings should never be touched. Those are static. The variance in the size of your print is going to come from any sort of variation in your filament and the accuracy of the machine. Typically, most FDM machines in the XY direction are going to have a 0.2 millimeter accuracy on the X and Y. Z is pretty much dead on. It's so dead on that it's hard to measure without really, really sensitive equipment. But the only time you should calibrate your extruder once, and that's it. Because the filament diameter varying is going to have more impact on your print than the steps per millimeter of your extruder. So if you have your extruder steps per millimeter set, those are set. You should vary your flow rate based on your filament diameter. Now, to be completely honest with you guys, I set my E-steps and I never change them. I never change my flow rate. The only reason you should be having to change your flow rate is because you're using really, really low quality filament where the filament diameter is either severely under or severely over the 1.75 millimeter diameter. I'm looking at chat right now so I can catch up here. I'm not sure what you mean. Maker's Muse did a vid and it seemed like a pain to upgrade. I'm not sure what you mean by a pain to upgrade. Can you give me more context? I don't even know how to say her name. Disassocio? I have heaps of issues with my Ender 3 Pro, still having issues with it, but much better after putting microstress all metal hotend and SKR 1.3 and a BL Touch. Here's the reality, guys. If you get a BL Touch that's made correctly, it will work. It's just a lot harder to get dialed in than our sensors, and it's got a lot more wires to connect. The Easy ABL is a very simple solution because it uses the ZN stop. You have 2 wires for the board connection and 2 wires for the power. What is the temp on the tough tubing? We advertise up to continuous use of 275 Celsius. I'm trying to turn my lights on here. Come on. There we go. But if you look at the MSDS sheet in our knowledge base, it didn't actually start melting until 327. But I would still recommend staying under 275, which covers most of your filaments. Now, looking at the print, I am getting a tiny bit of under extrusion, but it is printing very fast. Like this file is running way faster than I would. So I just dropped the feed rate to 80%. And we should start seeing more solid infill. Yeah, our tough tube is cheaper. And it's one of those things, like, in general, you get what you pay for. But in terms of the tough tube, you do get a better bargain. It's a couple bucks cheaper than Capricorn, because Capricorn comes at like $12 to $15 a meter. We're at like 10 bucks. And I will bet everything I own on it that it performs exactly the same. And based on what I've been seeing and my experience with Capricorn is that the center hole in our tubing has been more accurate traditionally than Capricorn. Capricorn has been having a lot of issues where that center hole is not actually centered in the tube. It's offset. And that causes a lot of issues with extrusion. Our CR10S Pro, which comes with Capricorn genuine tubing from the factory, the hole was offset by a whole 0.2 millimeters. Let's see here. Don't skip on filament. Yeah, spend a couple extra bucks and get better quality filament. Absolutely, I will recommend that. Issue with the Ender 3 steps is that the stock value is 93 when it should be 95. That is correct. That's why our firmware is set to 95. Now you can compensate for that by upping your flow rate, in the slicer, but it should be 95. Now, Blasto, when you do your E-step calibration, it should be done in open air, not with the nozzle in the way. I run 463 steps per millimeter when using our tough extruder or our tough direct setup with a 1/16 stepping driver, and that works really well for us. I would not recommend changing your CR10 to 2.85 millimeter film, because here's the thing: the reality is 2.85 is going away. That's why you're seeing discounts on it. I personally would say keep it at 1.75. Yeah, Kyle, I haven't messed with those, but I've seen them. So there are sensors you can get that detect the filament diameter, and they can adjust the printer's flow rate based on the diameter it's seeing. Those are really cool, but in my opinion, overkill. But if you're really anal about having absolutely perfect prints, then go for it. I'm not gonna stop you. Oh, look, it's rain. Yeah, that's a good point. So a lot of counterfeit Capricorn tubing out there. Um, that's the thing with buying from us is if I tell you that something is a 4 millimeter outer diameter, 1.9 millimeter inner diameter with the specified tolerances, which I think are like 0.05 plus or minus, you're going to get what we tell you get. The same thing happens with like Photech solid state relays because they're so popular, they get widely cloned. And one of the reasons, among many, that I refuse to sell on Amazon is let's say we sell our Easy ABL kit on Amazon. Someone else can come along and list an Easy ABL kit under our product listing and sell it as an Easy ABL kit, even though it's not from us. So when you guys are buying from Amazon, especially with electronics parts, you got to be very careful because you can get third-party sellers that are shady that are going to sell you crap that's not actually what they say you're getting. We've got 122 people watching. Holy shit. Yeah, come on, guys. Smash that like button. 3D Jimmy, I will take a drink for you. .406 is a number I've seen people throw out there. I run 463, but hey, if it's working for you, then run with it. Robbie Max says, I'm curious what could have been wrong because I set steps on 3 of my Ender 2s to make them all consistent. They were all slightly different. No issues since all the prints are identical. It could be the fact that you have slight variations in your filament. Now, we have in our farm, our ABS machines, aside from 2, are 12 Ender 3s, and they're set up with the exact same upgrades on all of them from us. So we have our Tough Extruder, our Easy Out Filament Sensor Kit, the stock control board with the bootloader with our firmware, solid bed mounts, and an Easy ABL kit. Every single one of those printers I can throw the same G code on and run a successful print that looks great on. Now, the thing is, though, we do spend a little more money on premium filament. And by a little more, I mean like $2 to $3 a roll. That $2 to $3 a roll is going to net you better print quality because typically those manufacturers that are not trying to race to the bottom and get the lowest price are going to have a little more attention to detail on the quality. And we vary between U.S. suppliers for our filament and Chinese suppliers. And I only have certain Chinese suppliers that I use because they do actually produce good filament, but they cost more than other filament that I could buy. And when you're running a production, it's really important for me to be able to have successful prints versus trying to save $3 to $4 a roll on filament. So especially if you guys are doing lower volume and you're just a hobbyist, spend the extra couple bucks on a roll of filament. In my opinion, Atomic Filament and Coex, COEX, those are U.S. suppliers of filament, and they make really good stuff. I'm printing with Coex right now. Coex is based out of Wisconsin, and Atomic Filament is based out of Indiana. They're both really good. Let me see here. Oh man, you guys like flooded my chat here. I am going to need another bathroom break because I'm apparently a lightweight. In a sec here. Robbie Mack, I read his comment. I'm curious what the best practice is. In my opinion, the best practice is set your steps per millimeter, and then if you need to adjust in your slicer with the flow rate. I'm not sure you mean disassocio. Not like I can switch it back and take advantage of the discounts while they last. I'm not sure what you mean. Do you know if your dual LCD adapter works on the SKR mini board? So here's the thing. I have not tested on there. I do not want to spend any time dealing with their boards because I truly feel that they're inferior, and I would still be saying that regardless if we had the easy board or not. In terms of that adapter adapts that single LCD header to run on a 12864 LCD or the Creality. In theory, it should work fine. If you're going to purchase it and it doesn't work, you can let us know, but I'm not going to provide technical support if it doesn't work because it's not been validated to work on that board. Maybe at some point I'll get around to testing it, but in theory, because the SKR mini board works with the standard single cable Creality LCD, and that board adapts our board, which also works with the standard Creality single cable LCD, it should work. But I can't guarantee it because I have not personally tested it. 3D Jimmy asks, what's up with the Mercedes? My old ass wagon. The wipers are fixed. I'm just trying to fix the RF issue with the remote. So Mercedes is fancy. And I don't want you guys to think I'm a pretentious prick. I have a really old Mercedes that I picked up for stupid cheap. And I've been paying the price with fixing issues with it. But the remotes have RF, which is radio frequency, 315 megahertz, and infrared. I can use it with the infrared, so meaning if I point it at the door handle, okay, it'll unlock, etc. But the RF isn't working. I've swapped out all the radio modules for the antennas, still not working. So I'm wondering if it's the actual key I have. So I'm unfortunately going to have to bend over and take it up the ass from Mercedes and have them make me a second key, which I need anyways. I don't like having one key for the car. But it runs, it drives, the heat works, the air conditioning works. For the most part, aside from some creature comforts, like being able to use RF, it works. For a $2,200 car, I can't complain. What else do we have here? I don't hit the like button until Tim starts ranting. That's what I watch the videos for. Okay, well, give me a couple more beers and there might be a rant somewhere. Is weed legal where you guys are? No, it's not. Indiana does not have legal weed. I'm about to set up my first printer, Enter 5 Plus. Hearing this stuff scares me. I understand nothing yet. We did multiple videos on Enter 5 Plus. The TLDR is the only thing that is critically issue prone with that machine is the power supply. They tend to fail because they use a really crappy power supply. And just like most Creality printers, the extruder, because it's plastic, does not have good tension, so you get under extrusion. Chris Hammond says, I purchased the Exoslide and Hermera. Exoslide has created a Hermera mount, but no one has created the mount for the Easy ABL, and I am incompetent with design. Would love to see a mount created and Tim incorporate the necessary changes of firmware. If you want to email streams at th3dstudio.com with any sort of relevant links, I can have Aaron take a look at it and see if we can design a mount for you guys. Because we do have a custom probe option in the firmware, so if you know your offsets of the probe, and offsets are how far on X and Y is a probe in front of and or behind the nozzle, you can enter that in. I do have a Hermera sitting here, but I have not installed it on any machine. That will be another stream. I plan on putting it on my Solval SVO1, which will be running a Mosaic Palette Pro. Well, the Palette Pro 2. Is it me, or is that hotend fan not running? It's running. Both of them are running. It's definitely on. It's probably just the frame rate of the camera. 3, Jimmy, Tim, TH3, love the TH3 firmware, better in stock. Well, that was the goal. I'm glad you like it. Bardicus, we carry the PSUs for the Ender 5 Plus. The problem with buying with Amazon is that I have bought Meanwhile power supplies from Amazon and I refuse to buy them from there anymore because third-party sellers on there will sell you fake Meanwhile power supplies, which are no better than the stock one. So if you guys want genuine Meanwhile power supplies, if you purchase them from us, we are 110% for sure getting genuine power supplies because we're buying them from verified suppliers, which is why our price is higher than Amazon and other third-party sellers on eBay and whatnot. So if you guys want to guaranteed get a genuine Meanwhile power supply, you buy it from us. I'm not saying you can never get a genuine one from Amazon. I'm just saying you're more likely to get a fake from Amazon versus from us. What do you think about the gantry brackets with the 4 palm wheels versus the stock on Ender 3 Pro? I think it doesn't really make that big of a difference. It's not going to hurt anything switching them over, but it's really not going to make that big of a difference. Using the Easy Connect with Raspberry Pi 3 and Easy ABL cause low voltage for the Pi. Is this normal? So the Easy ABL only pulls about 0.5 typical draw at 5 volt or at 12 volts, or 0.1 out of the 5 volt adapter. It could be your power supply that you're using on your Pi not supplying sufficient power. Because when we use our 3 amp power supply with our Pis that we sell with our Pi kits, we never have any issues with undervolting. If you're running a Raspberry Pi, you should always be running a power supply, not a phone charger, but a power supply. A lot of people use like a phone charger instead of a proper power supply. There's a difference between a phone charger and a power supply. Phone chargers will taper off their current draw or current output based on what it sees the device drawing. So if you put a Raspberry Pi in there, it doesn't really know what to give it amp-wise because it's expecting a phone. Any ideas on upgrading the upcoming Sunlu S8? I'm not familiar with that machine, but I will have to look at it. Yeah, we ship to Canada. In general, I haven't heard any complaints about our Canadian customers getting, raked over the coals with import duties. Yeah, you can check the Meanwhile serial number on their website. They have a serial check. So, but the only thing is too, if they copied a valid serial number for that model and then labeled it on every single model, it's going to show valid. Meanwhiles are one of those things where they're widely cloned that it's really hard to make sure you're getting a genuine one. When are the easy boards coming back in? I'm not sure. The issue is because a lot of those components, like the trinamic drivers, the LPCs, they're all made in China. China is basically shut down still for the most part because of the coronavirus. So it's screwing over not just us, but a lot of other people and a lot of other industries. So I don't have an ETA. 5 volt 2.5 amp for Raspberry Pi. You want a 3 amp output for Raspberry Pi. Shipping in Canada is a little expensive. It's usually only like 15 to 20 bucks tops, and that includes insurance. So if they damage or lose your order, you can contact us, and we will be able to open a claim. And we use a third-party insurance that's awesome. It's called Shipsurance. They will not only refund us the product cost, but the shipping cost, so we can either then reship it or refund you for the order. I will be right back, and I'm going to let this continue printing. Look at that. Perfect timing. Okay, let me catch up on chat. Yeah, so in my opinion, the Ender 5 Plus, if you swap the extruder and the power supply, it's a very solid machine. Those are really my only two main complaints with it. So Alteracious, we only changed over our US shipping to go through UPS. And USPS is about the same, but we're also actually, it's funny, we switched over to UPS and USPS is suddenly now wanting to work with us because they lost our business. Because to be quite frank, USPS sucks. I'm not saying UPS is perfect, but they're better than USPS. So I'm trying to get lower prices on everybody, and the reality is, whether you guys realize it or not, any sites that offer free shipping, that shipping is subsidized by higher product costs. And while I've tried to resist that for a long time, the reality is that you have to raise, if you want to offer free shipping, you have to raise your product cost a little bit to cover that difference. Even on our flat rate shipping, we are losing money at that $7.95. I'm trying to hopefully bring back first class shipping from USPS, but we need to have a rep where if a package is lost, they're going to do something, but I'm not holding my breath on that. So yeah, but if you're outside of the US and you order with us with USPS first class, that order is insured because we use a third-party service to insure it. USPS first class has no insurance or guaranteed tracking. Now, a lot of people are like, Tim, first class has tracking. You're lying. No, first class, while it has a tracking number, that does not mean that they guarantee it's going to be scanned at every stop it hits. That's the difference between USPS first class and priority. Priority has guaranteed tracking, meaning every single product or every single order that's shipped through priority gets scanned when it hits a new destination in the USPS network. First class does not. If it gets scanned, it gets scanned. Sometimes they don't. So what you guys have to realize is that first class, while it's an affordable option, does not guarantee you tracking. It's got tracking, but it's not guaranteed. And what that means is they have a tracking number and there's some information, but you're not going to get the level of information with first class that you would with priority or with like our option we're using, which is UPS SurePost, which I know some people have a problem with. I haven't had any issues with SurePost, but the difference is with SurePost, if we have a package go missing, it's insured and tracked, and I have a USPS or a UPS representative that I can call and yell at in the event that there is a problem. So that's why we switched over, is because I want to be able to have you guys be able to have something to fall back on should that package get lost or damaged. And with SurePost, while it's slightly faster than first class shipping, it has tracking and it has insurance included. And that's really important for me. Because it should be important to you guys, because that means if something happens to your package, while it's rare, but it does happen, you guys are covered. And we're not then dealing with unhappy customers because, hey, if you ship a package first class, there's no coverage whatsoever at all. With our new setup we have, there's coverage on all the packages now. I'm just catching up on chat here. Hang on. Order my Predator build Blight. Order my Predator build 6 weeks ago because of coronavirus. It's finally getting here on Friday. That's going to be a fun machine. Those are kind of a pain from what I've heard. I use a 503 amp on Octopi. So if you get an under voltage on Octoprint, here's my experience. If you're not getting lockups or issues with printing and it's throwing the undervolt error, you don't need to do anything. If you're not having issues with its performance, then just let it ride. The Pi requires USB specifications, which is 4.7 to 5.2 volts. If the input voltage is out of that range, then it will throw the undervolt error. And that could be due to your power supply, your cabling, or both. Yeah, you can run a ton of machines off of a standard computer, but even us with a big print farm, we run a Pi on every computer. It's easier. That way, if that Pi fails, I only have one printer down instead of all of them. I am going to wrap this stream up in a sec. So we've got enough to evaluate the print layers. So I'm just going through chat. So if you guys want me to answer any questions or provide any commentary, you should do that now. Because I'm going to examine the layers. We've already looked at the internals of it. They're decent. And then we're going to do a close-up on how the layers came out. Roush, or Rakush, look busy, he's back. Do you think the Chinese are going to recover from the stop without going out of business? They have to. I think we're going to see for the next month or two delays, and then they'll get caught up. The Chinese are very hardworking people. They're not gonna let everything just kind of fall apart because they had a virus outbreak. Calvin asks, is the front heatsink fan off? No, it just looks like that. It's running. Aside from the stepper motors, this printer is actually decently quiet. And it definitely has 4988 stepper motors on it. But the fans are good. I don't think that they're going to be as long lasting as like what we sell, but they're quieter than Creality's. So I can comment on that. Are you not interested in doing an official reseller in the EU? It would bring you a lot of extra business. We are talking right now. I can't disclose the reseller, but we are right now currently in talks with a reseller that's based out of Sweden that has a large distribution network. And I'm looking into currently what we have to do in terms to comply with like any sort of regulations if they're applicable to what we sell, and getting them pricing on it. So it's in the works. It's not as simple as, hey, I'm just going to ship a bunch of stuff to the EU. We got to make sure everything's correctly done. I'm not going to rush anything. And I also want to have a reseller that actually can provide technical support, because here's the reality. If a reseller is the one making the majority of the profit on our products, they have to provide the technical support. So I'm not going to just let any random person sell our products if they're not going to then properly support those customers with our products, because if they do a poor job at supporting our customers, it's going to reflect badly on TH3D as a whole. And if we're making very little profit, I can't afford to have technical support for a whole nother region that will be much higher than it is now, even though we ship worldwide. Those resellers have to be able to provide technical support for those products at the same level we do for our products. Let's see. USB, yeah, UPS PS consistently is rude and damages my packages. We were spending close to $14,000 a month on shipping with USPS, and the post office was a bunch of assholes. They were a bunch of assholes. The employees were rude, lazy pieces of shit, and I'm gonna just say it how it is, because that's the reality. They have a problem with us bringing a ton of packages in. I'm sorry, that's your fucking job. Do your fucking job. So when UPS came to us and said they have a solution that's a little more expensive but provides a better level of service, it was like shooting fish in a bucket, if that's the correct term. But USPS sucks. I really wish we could completely do away with them. I'm currently working on agreements with DHL, so we can get better pricing on international stuff too. And at this point, I'm willing to cut into our profit margin to be able to get rid of USPS, which is what we're doing with UPS. We're cutting into our profit margin to give you guys better shipping. When's the next roast session of Facebook group time? Oh, those just happen randomly. And then people usually end up deleting the post because we have people that'll try to be like, TH3D is terrible. And I'll be like, well, actually, here's what happened. And then they delete the post because I'll come in and be like, well, this is what happened. Here's all the both sides of the story. Yeah. Let's see here. Wednesday night, the night Cody and I fly, we're going to Three Floyd for dinner. Absolutely, Tyler. Got any, Barticus says, got any Ender 5 PSU Plus upgrade recommendations other than the PSU extruder and tubing? I got those covered. Building a cart in your shop. See if your BL Touch has good accuracy. If it doesn't, I would recommend our Easy ABL kit. If you're going to put an order in anyways, the LCD replacement is a really good upgrade because you're going to get a lot more functionality out of it, whether you go with our Easy ABL or not. I equate the touchscreen to think of the touchscreen as an Apple product. It's simple, it works pretty well, but it dumbs it down to the point where you have very little control over your own device. Getting rid of the touchscreen gives you back that control. That's as simple as I can put it. And the touchscreen upgrade will probably take you about 15 minutes to install. What else here? Glad to hear it's in the works and hope it works out. I hope it works out too. Yeah, USPS, I hate to say it, but the stereotype of USPS employees being lazy, entitled dicks, it's, in my experience, it's been absolutely true. In Illinois and here in Indiana, we've had nothing but problems with dealing with the post office. You would think that if we're spending literally $10,000 plus a month, I'm not looking for them to kiss my ass or lick my boots. I'm just looking for them to do their job. And when I go into the post office and dropping off close to 70 to 80 packages a day, I don't expect to give me shit and change the rules that they make up on the fly every single time we visit. You know, because they're like, well, you need to push this button to ring the bell. You can't come back here. You can come back here. Well, you don't need to push the bell. Well, if no one comes out after you push the bell, then you can come back here. Like, Jesus Christ, make up your fucking mind. And then on top of that, we had one of the people there that actually was attentive to what we were needing, trying to get a pickup for us, because right now UPS picks up all our packages every single day. That's why we're able to do same day shipping now. The UPS or the USPS person that was trying to get us on the route to get packages picked up every day, they ended up firing because they didn't want to deal with that. USPS picks up packages for companies all the time. Companies that are smaller than we are. We're not huge, but we're not tiny. It's bullshit. It's absolute bullshit. I'm tired of dealing with USPS. And if I have to take a loss on our profits to not have to deal with them and to make sure packages actually get there, and they're insured, I'm going to do that. And that's what we're doing with UPS. How many beers in are you now? This is number 4. So 4 and a half. Any news on DHL shipping rates to EU/UK? I have to implement the DHL settings in our website now. So my rep got me all the information for the API calls. I have to integrate them, which is on my to-do list this week. Yeah, Alejandro, you've had issues with the UPS. It really depends on your carrier. File a complaint with them. I feel like UPS is a little more responsive and takes the complaints more seriously than USPS, because USPS is kind of like, well, what are you guys gonna do? We're the mail service. Whereas UPS seems to take their stuff a little more seriously. File complaints. They're not going to change it if you don't let them know there's a problem. Yeah, so my the EU/UK, everybody's told me that Sweden is a good country to ship stuff to. So I'm really happy to hear that. I'm kind of ignorant on that stuff, so I really appreciate the feedback, because getting our stuff to the correct country to minimize shipping time and duties is important. All right, so I'm going to cancel this print. We're going to take a look at it, and then I'm going to wrap the stream up because I need to eat something. I brought some chips and salsa in, as well as some taco meat, and I'm going to have a snack and then get back to work here. So let's go ahead and stop the print. So cancel print does that. All right. So let's see what the verdict is on how well this thing actually prints. So not terrible layer lines. Now, this was printing pretty fast, but I'd say for the $220 price point, and that's prime shipped, we do see a little under extrusion here. If you see that? I think if I sat down and tuned a profile for it, there we go. So the raft is actually coming off fairly easily. And what that's a good indicator of how good is the cooling. Supports are coming off pretty easily too. So this is obviously the bottom of the pig. But the supports came off fairly easily. A little bit of under extrusion. However, I have a feeling they have these test files set very high. What do you guys think? I have this on manual focus because Logitech focus sucks. I personally think if we were to slow down the feed rate a little bit, this would be able to produce a nice bench. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to wrap the stream up. My thoughts right now are the firmware on this is terrible. And in terms of the auto leveling, it obviously prints. So I'm going to spend some time with it just like I did the Anycubic Mega Zero and see how good of a print I can get out of it once I tune the slicer. Physical build quality, I like it. I genuinely like it. I think it's decent. We got a standard Creality style hot end, if we want to call it that. The fans are quiet, so that's a good plus. PSU is just another no-name PSU. It's not a main well. The bed heats up quick. It's got a metal extruder. For $220, if you ignore that auto level sensor that comes with it, I don't think this is a terrible buy. I think there are worse machines you can buy in terms of this one. I will try to see if Marlin 2 can get flashed on this. If I can get Marlin 2 running on this, that would be fantastic. If I had to choose this over an Ender 3 Pro, I would still pick the Ender 3 Pro. And that's my honest opinion. But if you guys are looking to get something different, not a terrible buy. Yeah, I mean, aside from the auto leveling issue, it printed. That's where I'm at right now. So I'm gonna leave this on my bench here. This is like my work table that's next to my desk, and I'm gonna play with this. I'm gonna see if I can go ahead and get Marlin 2 running on this. So why is it home Z at the top? Because of the auto level sensor. So this goes up to the top. So the idea is supposed to be that it homes to the top and then you put the sensor on here. Now here's a nice feature. Do you guys notice this? The hot end, once it gets below 50 Celsius, they have the fans on this controlled. So this printer is going to be completely silent when you're not printing, even though it's on. That's a nice little feature. So there's some little add-ons on here that do give it, in my opinion, a slight edge over the Ender 3. These springs are good springs. Like, if you guys look, these springs are solid. I could see if you had an Ender 3 already and you wanted something different, this might be a good option. The only thing that's going to kill any recommendation I have for it is the fact if I can get Marlin firmware running on this board or not. And I will be sure to post you guys updates if I am actually able to get Marlin on this. Now, this is a STM32. I think it's the STM32-407. So I'm going to plug away at this, and I'm going to also research and see if anybody else has already got Marlin 2 running on there. But it is Anet's own board. I'm also going to request the firmware source code because I would put money on it that this is running Marlin on the back end. They've just stripped out the G-code commands that would then expose that it's running Marlin. But this is all stuff I'm going to play with. My initial impression is that physically this is actually pretty decent. This auto level sensor stuff is garbage. Just ignore the fact that it comes with it. Just don't even use it. You got a glass bed. You got a bed that heats up very fast. And a fairly standard hot end. And a metal extruder. So in terms of Ender 3, the Ender 3 doesn't come with a filament sensor. The Ender 3 doesn't come with a metal extruder. And the Ender 3 also doesn't come with a 32-bit processor. This comes with all of those. So I'm going to mess with this more. And how we do stuff here is if we have a printer that has major issues, we will do a follow-up video on it. So if you don't see a follow-up video on this, you can assume that it's been printing well and I haven't had any major problems. If we do have major problems, I will post another video about this machine and let you guys know what the issues are. All in all, for $220 shipped from the US through Amazon, not a terrible deal. As long as you remember to ignore that this has that little crappy probe thing. Manual leveling worked. But that's about it. I'm not gonna be like go out and buy this. It's gonna be more of a you've already have a printer and you're familiar with machines, and if you got $220 burning a hole in your pocket, yeah, maybe go ahead. Or wait until you guys see if we end up getting Marlin working on it. Because if I can get Marlin working on it, this printer now becomes a lot more valuable and versatile. But all in all, it printed. Ignoring the auto level issues and doing manual leveling, this machine printed. And didn't print bad. So, if you guys follow us on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook, I will be doing more prints on this. And I will post little teasers and more results from this machine. I will be playing with this over the next couple days to see what I can do with it. And that's about it. I hope you guys had fun. I hope you guys enjoyed yourselves. If you guys want to support our channel, we are 100% supported by our affiliate links in the bottom and sales from our shop. the sales from our affiliate links don't cost you anything extra to use, and the money I do get from those, I usually end up buying other machines or upgrades and stuff to play with and or blow up. It depends on what I'm feeling like that particular moment. So, but all in all, not a bad machine. Physically, I don't see any glaring issues with it at this point. So if you're looking for something other than Ender 3 and an additional printer, not a terrible purchase. There's a lot of other machines you can get out there that are really bad. And hopefully, once I feed back the issues I've had to Orion Tech, maybe they can get with Anet and release an updated firmware to fix the problems they were having. So that's about it. I will talk to you guys later, and as always, happy printing. Bye-bye now.